We'll now declare the March 9th Caribou City Council meeting officially open. And the first item on our agenda tonight is public input, and Yvette Seaman requested to have public input tonight. Not here. All right. Anyone else that has any public input, either to do with any item on the agenda or any other business to Caribou?
Good evening, Mayor Aiken, members of the council, city manager, police. For the record, my name is Paul R. Camping, and I reside at 710 Grimes Road in the city of Caribou. I appear before council tonight as the spokesperson for the Caribou Secession Committee. Tonight, after nearly 9 months of circulating our petition and tabulating the results, we are submitting it to you for certification by the city clerk. We are required by law to gather signatures from more than 50% of the registered voters in the secession territory, and by our calculations, we have exceeded that number. If you have any questions for us, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we will speak to you again when the clerk completes her job.
I don't know if I'm supposed to officially accept it. I'm going to pass it along, but I'll accept it. Thank you, Mr. Cappy. Any other business from anyone? Any other comment, any other public input from anybody? All right. Next item, conflict of interest. Any city councilors have any conflict of interest with any of the agenda items?
None.
Authorizing minutes of the following meetings: February 23rd, 2015 council meeting and February 23rd, 2015 council workshop.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. McDonough, seconded by Mr. Smith. Any questions or comments or any problems with minutes? All those in favor? Approved. Consent agenda. February 2015 fire ambulance report. February library department report. February parks and recreation report. Approval of quitclaim deeds. Approval of the road weight limit permit. And February 2015 financials. Any councilors want to discuss any of these separately, or any questions on any of them? Anyone?
Move the slate.
Second?
Move the slate second. And no other questions, comments? I have some questions on the financials. Nothing major, but we got a lot of categories where we don't have any of the, like in the current month again, I noticed city and state retirement. There's no charges for the city and state retirement in the current month.
There's something with the Trio software that's not putting in the right place that we're working through.
For any of the, some haven't got any for the whole year.
Right.
Other than property insurance seems to be, I mean, we're running at 24% for 2 months.
Tony Mizuko didn't pay the December bill before he left, and that got caught in February. So we're going to be...
So you got an extra month in the
this
year already. What else did I have here? Yeah, I had property insurance through the whole thing. Under fire and ambulance, it looks like we're under budgeted on our health insurance for the year. It looks like about $20,000 over for the year, if I base it out on the 12 months.
Right, and as you recall from reading in one of the weekly updates in February, the HRA amounts are put in.
I consider that awesome, even with that. I mean, we're running $23,000 a month for February. 23,000 times 12 is about $276,000. That's our budget, so we're going to be over that other money, that HR money. It comes out to around 20 grand we're going to be out for the year. Also on the fire and ambulance, right now our wages look like they're about $30,000 over budget for the first 2 months. And our revenue looks like it's about $47,000 behind for the first 2 months.
Excuse me, where are the wages over?
The what?
Where are the wages over?
The wages are over about $30,000 for the first 2 months.
Regular pay or?
Well, regular overtime, what we've actually spent for the first 2 months.
Because regular pay looks to be pretty close to spot on. Overtime's a little bit high.
You know, overtime's over and regular pay's over slightly. And then, like I say, it amounts to, I don't know. For the first 2 months, I've got $30,000 over for the first 2 months, so. And I've got the revenue $47,000 behind for the first 2 months, which is $77,000, and that, again, if the trend continues, that's $460,000 for the year.
Right, and I would caution you from making any gross judgments based on 2 months out of the budget year.
Oh, no, I understand
It's all
that.
cyclical for the revenues and
I'm just saying it,
so.
that's the trend. And you know, if we look at it now and see that we aren't where we should be and can do something, we should probably be doing it. If we wait until October, it's gonna be too late. Just a comment, and if we feel that we're gonna be there, and if we feel that the trend in the past, and again, you can look at the trend in the past, and if it shows that it's probably gonna even out, great. I just don't wanna wait till October to find out. And I say that only on the fact that we put additional people in there because we were missing these runs and it would be more revenue. Well, we have the extra pay in there, we're not getting the extra revenue, so.
you recall that last year we grossed about $180,000 above the extra expenses from the new people, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 180, but last year we were all right. I'm looking at what we are this year, and I don't know if anything's changed. And maybe Chief Susie knows of something that's changed. I don't know. If there's been some downswing for some reason or whatever. But I'm just saying where we're at right now and where it would project if you base it over 12 months on the 2 months, so. I also noticed, I mean, all through the city, whether it's Public Works, whether it's Fire Department, whether it's police, we have nothing in here after 2 months for diesel fuel in nearly every account.
Right, diesel fuel is a monthly adjustment at the end of the month, and we didn't get the numbers from Public Works until late January. Is always late, and then February didn't come out until after the reports were printed from
Well,
council.
The trail grooming and that, they don't get their diesel from the city? I noticed theirs is in there. That's why I asked the question.
I don't know how that works. I'd have to ask.
Yeah,
If you
it
would have asked
just-
this earlier, I could have gotten that answer for you tonight.
It just, to me, it doesn't make sense either, you know, we're billing it out or we're not. We're 2 months into it, and we don't know. Again, and I understand it's a city, and everybody has that opinion that, well, you know, you're gonna pay it anyway, and it's gonna be there, and on and on and on, but it's still not a way to run a business, and no matter how long I'm here, I still look at it like running a business, I'm sorry. And I don't, you know, in a business, if you didn't have the numbers in your budget for 2 months, I'm gonna tell you, something would happen. At least if it was the businesses that I ran, something would happen, so. What else did I have here? The other thing on our fuel costs, and I'm talking about heating fuel. Do we have the breakdown between fuel and pellets?
It's all in the heating fuel. We don't break it down in the reports.
Is there a
It's all-
reason we wouldn't break it down to see how we're, you know, what our usage is with pellets compared to heating oil?
We just keep it in the same expense line. We've never broken it out.
I mean, do we not feel it'd be, I mean, since we also have this deal on the pellets and trying to justify things and the end of the year and so on, would it not be beneficial to have that broken out?
It's
Somehow?
all tracked elsewhere.
All right.
There's no need to have a different line item for it.
I mean, I understand that the systems are working better now, but fire and ambulance, the other thing, bad debt allowance. I see we've charged off $30,000 already, which is 35% of the budget. Do we expect the bad debt allowance to far exceed our budget? Because that's, again, trending, that's $100,000 over.
That is high. It's the timing of a couple of the write-offs that we've had. It shouldn't be too far over, but that is one that we're concerned about and are watching.
All right. And again, I noticed police department, same thing, gas oil filters. Anyway, that's, in summary, that's the majority of them, I guess. There's, I did an insurance and retirement account. Workman's compensation, we've paid 73% of our yearly budget already out.
Right.
Workman's comp, doesn't that go monthly or quarterly?
Quarterly. Yep. Typically, the first quarter is the largest, and then afterwards it shrinks down. But we are looking at that one as well, because it does seem a little bit higher than normal. I'm not sure if
It certainly is higher than normal. And we have Social Security in here charged out.
Again, it's the trio issue that I mentioned earlier.
It's the which?
Trio issue that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that's making a great racket on the TV, that paper flipping, but the housing department, health insurance. Again, we show we've paid 54% of the total budget in the first 2 months for health insurance. 54%.
That one's not quite right.
Health insurance in the Section 8 FSS program. We show a budget of $19,120 for the year. We have one person in that department.
On a family plan.
Are they on the family plan?
Yes. That was discussed as part of the budgeting process too, if I recall.
And if that was the case in the current month, why did we only charge $15 for health insurance? If they're on the family plan and it's $19,000 for the year.
I'd have to look. I don't know what that one is. If you could ask me these questions earlier when we chatted today, I could have had answers for you tonight.
I didn't have them earlier when we chatted. I guess one of the only other things I didn't understand was on the revenue side, fire and ambulance department. Our main care contractual allowance. We show that as a positive in here. And our Medicare contractual allowance, we show it as a positive on our revenue. Are those not negative numbers?
They're negative numbers if you look at the,
They show up as a positive in the current month. The year-to-date looks negative because we didn't have any budget for it. Now we got all this money coming in there.
no, those are negative numbers.
They're not negative budget numbers in the financial statement.
I
Mr.
don't know
Ray.
why it appears differently.
I don't know either. But again, you're talking $375,000. I mean, when you look at this budget and look where you think we're at, we're not even close. We're not even close. And I would suggest, I mean, we only do this once a month. I would suggest that maybe our Director of Finance should be here when we review these numbers, so that if there are questions, maybe we can get them answered.
Right, and that's why we sent them out early this year, or this month. You had since last Wednesday to look at this, and you could ask questions with me, of the finance director. It would help us to be prepared to know in advance, because some of these things we're going to have to look up, and some of it might be an error that we would have to go back and fix.
Yep.
So if we could have the questions in advance, that would certainly help everybody out.
And you know my position. I'm from the old school. You know, I can work on a computer, but to go up and down, going through sheets and trying to compare this and trying to compare that, I have said since day one when I've been on here, I want a hard copy of the financials because I want to be able to lay them out in front of me and look here and look there.
Yep, and they were available to you last Wednesday.
Yes, they were. And they were supposed to be given to me on Friday. with
They were
my
available
council.
on Wednesday for pickup for you.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be given to me on Friday in the council packet if they weren't picked up, and they weren't. So I picked them up today, and that's when I went through them, and that's when I looked at these things. Anyway, any other questions? Motion to pass the consent agenda? All in favor? Approved. Mobile home park ordinance. We have to introduce this ordinance tonight. Counselor, we have a counselor who would like to introduce the ordinance.
I'll introduce the ordinance, chapter 13, section 13-408, mobile home parks.
Any questions or comments on this ordinance that we want to make tonight? There will be a public hearing on this. And we schedule that for next meeting. Not a problem to schedule it for the next meeting?
No.
Okay. That's all we need there. We don't need a motion to pass it. We need ordinance recommendations from the Highway and Protection Committee. That has to be introduced tonight.
Eric and I introduce ordinance number 4, 2015 series, City of Caribou, County of Aroostook, State of Maine, an ordinance amending chapter 12, traffic.
Any questions or comments on that ordinance? We'll schedule a public hearing for that, for the, what is it, the 23rd, the next one? Yeah.
Something like that.
Next one is ordinance number 5, 2015 series, City of Caribou, County of Aroostook, ordinance amending chapter 11, streets.
Any questions or comments on that ordinance? Public hearing is scheduled for that as well on the 23rd. All right, the next item is 28 Hammond Street. Manager, please.
TD Bank, which holds the mortgage on the tax acquired property at 28 Hammond Street, through their attorney, is requesting that the council allow them to pay all the accumulated taxes, interest, costs, etc. by Friday of this week, so that the property could be deeded back to the owner of record. The payoff calculation for Friday would be $2,671.09. This is the same setup the council has agreed to in previous cases. We would need council action on this.
I'll make a motion
Yep.
that we allow them to purchase the property back by Friday for the amount of $2671.09.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Smith, second by Councilor Terrio, to allow them to purchase back the property by Friday, March the 13th. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? 4-2. 4-2, passed. Councilor McDougall, Councilor McDonough opposed. Next item is authorizing the sale of tax-acquired property. Manager, please.
We had two properties that received bids, map 28, lot 78, 22 York Street, minimum bid of $18,000, Steve Rajewski bid $18,300. Map 34, lot 167 at 8 South Park Street, minimum bid was $6,000. Danielle McLaughlin of bid $8,000 and is the high bidder. So we would need council action on the bids we've received.
Make a motion to accept the bids on the two properties that we received bids on.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Smith, seconded by Councilor Martin, to accept the bids on 22 York Street and 8 South Park Street. Any comments or discussion?
High bid. High bid. 8,000.
8,000.
8,000 was Park and 18 was on York. 18.3, sorry. All those in favor? Approved. Application approvals. Manager, please.
Gary St. Peter, DBA, as Napoli's Restaurant, has submitted a liquor license and a special amusement application to the city. The police chief's code enforcement officer have reviewed the application and are okay with it. The city is aware of some violations of the life safety code, which is enforced by the state fire marshal's office. A list of the corrections has been given to the owner by the state fire marshal. The Fire marshal has been in contact with the fire chief, to keep him informed of the situation as well. The fire chief is okay with the application as long as the violations from the state fire marshal's office are corrected. If they're not corrected, the fire marshal will take their own action on the business. So we would need council action on the license applications.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Counselor McDonough, second by Counselor Martin, to approve the liquor application, special amusement application. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Approved. Other business? Any other business? Counselor Martin?
Yes, Manager Blease, in January, the council, we talked about having an assistant city manager, or at least having somebody that could come in.
Yep.
And you said that you wanted to look at or think about different ways that could be done.
Right.
And I think we gave you a couple months to do that,
By
so.
the end of March, yep, it'll be on the agenda for the March, or the next meeting in March.
Okay, thanks.
Excuse me, could I ask you a question, please?
Would,
We bid on Hammond Street. Does that mean that Hammond Street can't be bid on?
That's correct.
Why do you put these things in the paper that you can't be bid on? I mean, this is the second time we've been kind of screwed. I said so. First time was for crying people, and this time it's because it was in paper. Shouldn't have been.
Properties are put in the paper when they've been foreclosed on and they are up for bid.
Well, I would have been not for bid if it's not legal. You know.
It is legally in the city's possession. It is foreclosed on. And the city does own the property at that time. What has happened in the past is some of those properties, the people that previously owned them have come in and at that time have been able to pay all the taxes off for the 3 years.
If they
And when they've done that, council has agreed to let them maintain their
They
property.
have brand new vehicles in their driveway, and for 3 years, they can't even come in here and make an attempt to pay their damn taxes. But at the last minute, we lost, I don't know how much money.
When we do this, we have to try to get a title, and that costs money.
Title search cost us money. And we lost that
We
money
lose it.
because, you know, the last minute, people come in crying because they wanna pay their taxes and make
And
an
I
attempt.
understand that, but don't bother put it in the paper for people if you're gonna not do it. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
don't
I
wanna
would have
lose our
bid
house
on
either,
York
you
Street
know.
if I knew Hammond Street wasn't available. And so now I can't even bid on,
Well, that's all right. Thank you very much. Let's go.
are you ever gonna think of reimbursing the people for when you have it in the paper? And they go ahead and they get just only $3, yeah, for a check there, and then so much money for the title searches that you have to have done? And if you don't.
Well,
have
you
it done,
don't, first of all, no one has
you can't get
to have a
back.
title search done. I mean, you do that because you want to do that
You'll
for
lose
safety.
your deposit.
You want to do that for safety reasons, I understand that. I think there's some properties that are purchased that people do purchase without doing a title search. Whether that's right or wrong, and whether I would do it is one thing.
Sometimes they lose their butts.
Yeah, that can happen, yes, but,
Regardless, we did spend the money for the title search, now we lose that. And we bid over $10,000 over the bid that was asked for that property, like on Wright Street.
yeah.
And what's the best interest of Caribou to give it back to the people? You know, when they haven't even attempted to pay taxes for 3 years.
I guess, at some time, everybody looks and says, maybe it's not what's in the best interest for Caribou, it's what's in the best interest for the people that own the property. It is a very tough deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now York Street, I can't bid on that either,
That's
right?
when we bid on that, accepted bid.
York Street was sold, wasn't it? Yes, that was sold today.
South Park were sold.
So what you're saying, I should have bid on everything, and then hope one was all right.
Well, there's two that were sold here tonight, so,
Yeah, and I'm saying I would have bought York Street
yeah.
if I'd known this was gonna happen with Hammond Street, Wright Street, and I can't even remember the other street.
Oh, that was
Prescal.
Prescott Road, when the guy acquired the property the same way we were trying to acquire a property. And he come in here with an attorney.
He didn't live in the home. Now, I feel bad for the other lady, she did live in it. But you don't know when you're going to bid on these properties, if it's someone renting it out and just can't,
Yeah.
you know, so I understand that.
And often, we don't know that either, so.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other business tonight?
Can you bid on something and then have a title search done after?
You have 30 days to close, to pay off the rest of the,
No, you can't, you don't have 30 days to get the title search done, to get your deposit back.
Deposit from whom?
When you bid on a piece of property, like you put 1,000 down or 2,000 down, you have to have that done before the 30 days, because then you will lose that deposit.
Deposit to the city?
To the city?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
you won't get the money back.
The only way around that would be if the city would refund the money if the title search didn't work out.
I mean, I think we should either have a disclaimer when we, I mean, it's a problem with the way we're doing it, but we either have a disclaimer when we put these out for bid that, you know, that we have been doing this, or work with them so that they can get the title search after the bids.
they could always do a title search after the bids are open.
But if you can't get it cleared, then you cannot get the money.
You're talking to borrow the money to get a mortgage or whatever?
No, I have the cash for it.
Okay. So what was your comment? You can't what?
When you go and you get a title search done, you have 30 days to back out, which you do not get your deposit back.
Right.
From the city.
But to cover yourself, you're told to go get a lawyer, and then you can pay up to $600 for one title search for one piece of property. If you want to back out for other reasons, you have, because of the search, then you forfeit your money to the city.
Well, I guess if something come up in the search, we could make some kind of an exception. Could you not?
It'd have to come back to the council for their
Yeah.
approval.
Just as we're doing otherwise, or make
I
an
think,
exception.
I think I would wait and do the title search after, and yeah, the city will work with you so you don't get, I mean, there's no point in spending money. Yeah, I can see. Maybe that should be added to the people that buy it by the 13th.
That is a part of the risk, though, to buying
Right.
tax-acquired property. I mean, I do agree that we should put something in there that, you know, if we're gonna let people come in at the last minute and pay all their taxes off, then we should be, if that's what we're doing, let's say that's what we're doing. I mean,
Well, also, even if they do a title search and somebody outbids them, they're still out the money for the title search.
but that's part of the
But
risk.
you'll get the deposit
That's part of
back.
the risk.
Oh, yeah, they
You
get
get
the
the
deposit
deposit.
back,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
So,
you know,
yeah, I mean, if
They've
it's-
still spent the title search money.
yeah,
though.
they've still spent the title
There's
search.
just one,
Well, could
Well,
you,
that's it, when you win your bid, then you go get your title search done. And you've only got a very small time, I do not remember, to get it done.
so could we work on checking out, I mean,
No
If you
other
extended the
communities-
time from 30 days to 60 days, Austin.
That could work.
I think you ought to put in the paper, people who want to try for their property back before they're put out for bids, they should do that.
But I don't understand why you put it in the paper, is what the whole thing is. Like, if I would have known this was gonna happen with Hammond Street, I wanted York Street. It was a toss in between the
Yeah.
two. And
But we didn't know.
yeah, we don't know
Right.
until
We
we get
didn't
the
know it
agenda,
was gonna
until,
happen.
until
That came up after the fact.
Right.
when the mortgage holder.
We understand it's not a perfect system.
okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Any other new business?
Would the investment committee be willing to hold a meeting on the 19th We should have the RFPs back for the investments by Friday, and that'll give us a
The
little bit of time to look them
19th.
over.
What's today?
Today is the 9th, so the 19th would be next Thursday.
What time?
Daytime works for staff, or we can do the evening as well.
It'd have to be evening for me on the 19th. But I could on the 19th. It would have to be on the evening, though. Is that all right with everybody else that's involved?
Sure.
Who's the chair of that? Is that me?
Me.
Oh, okay. I'll try to be here.
Try, yeah.
What time?
All right.
I'll wait for the
What time?
chair to decide a time.
6 o'clock? All right. Anything else or any other meetings? Anyone has? Any other business? All right, that's the end of our regular session, I guess. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Mayor Aiken, I move we go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA subsection 456D to discuss union negotiations with the Teamsters, local union number 40.
Second?
All those in favor? We'll go to executive session. Thank you for coming, everyone.